Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another Wednesday live stream with the Shower Door Professionals. And we are a group of shower door pros who meet weekly to discuss business, education, safety, design, everything else as it pertains to shower doors, glass, and just the glass industry in general. And you can join us live on Zoom every week. If you want to, just visit showerdoorprofessionals.com, select professionals, and then resources, and you'll find the link there that'll route you right into the call. It'll be awesome. You're going to love it. You can also find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you like to get your podcasts, we're there. Just search for Shower Door Professionals. Boom. You'll find us. We'll pop right up. And then you can listen, on the job, in the car, whatever, but be safe when you're driving. Anyway, we are having a good time and really happy to have Sam Franklin with us this evening. He's going to be our guest host. Sam Franklin is with Smart Glazer Software. I know that a lot of you guys probably are already using this or know about it. This is a product and a service that comes up in our discussions frequently. And so I've been hoping we'd be able to get Sam on the call for quite a while. And, somebody pulled some strings and got him on here. So, Sam, welcome to the Shower Door Professionals live stream. I want to just make you feel welcome. And my home is your home. Feel free to share your screen or talk about whatever you want. We're all ears.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. That's really kind of you. Yeah. Thank you for having me on here today. So I guess some of you might already know us or potentially even know me. I see a couple of familiar faces there. And yeah, it's cool to hear that you're talking about our products. Hopefully good things. And look, I mean, I guess today I thought what I'll do is introduce us as a company, a little bit about what we do, a little about, I guess, how we kind of fit into the market as far as glazing is concerned, and then glazing software, and then I can run through, depending on what people are interested in. We can give you a little insight into the system and run through a bit of a demonstration, but I can also just open it up to questions if people have specifics.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah. So starting off, so Smart Glazer Software, we have actually had a couple of changes in the last few years. We used to be called Smart Builder, but there is no change of ownership, no sale. It was just a rebrand because we do not work with builders. We work exclusively with glaziers. So the company's been around since 2000. The origin of the company actually was just software development. We were contracted by a company called Glass Hardware. So they made shower door hardware and glass railing hardware out of New Zealand. So I'm actually based in New Zealand. We're a lot like, if you haven't been down here, New Zealand's a lot like the US. There's obviously a few bits and pieces that are different, but culturally, I think we're very much along the same lines. We value, I don't know, I was going to say freedom. It's a bit cheesy, but we do.
You like freedom here.
Do what you want. We also just value the customer service and looking after people and kind of integrity in business, I guess. And that's something that I think we hold up as a company, is we try and be pretty open, pretty direct. So how we fit into the US market, I guess, we've been developing software for glass companies for 24 years, I guess. The original software that was built was shower door design software. And the company CRL, who I'm sure everyone here is familiar with, purchased a license for that, I think in 2000, actually. They purchased it from Glass Hardware. And so we've just been the development company for them. So CRL do own the license for the shower door designer, which eventually evolved into our partition and glass entrance designer, also known as Storefronts Online. And then the glass handrail designer as well came through. So we have those design modules, but alongside those, we've also built a bunch of other tools. So we have glass drawing software for just a standalone glass panel. We can do things for IG units, double glazed, triple glazed, quadruple glazed. We can do laminate glass and custom laminate glass. So depending on where you are in the market, you might have a need for, tempered custom laminates with multiple interlayers. So that's the sort of thing that our software can configure. We do highly custom shapes. And I guess the primary driver originally for us was estimating. That bled over into the ordering portion. So you can get a price for something and quote it to your customer, but then you also need to order it from your glass supplier or glass fabricator. So the fabrication piece came along second, and we output CAD files in various different formats. So a lot of different fabricators will use things that we can export that'll be for their 4-bit machine or for their CNC cutting table, or it could just be for a water jet. And then we evolved to actually add on integration with players like A&W, Lysec, Optima software, and they are the systems that run the factories typically. So one of our key goals is actually to reduce the amount of paper that gets shifted around in the glass industry, and going to move like a more digital ordering process, because the less people that touch your order, the better, the less chance of somebody putting a number incorrectly or getting the glass wrong. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of like a very brief introduction to how we came into existence. So we started with that design piece, and then we moved into ordering. And probably our biggest product now is actually our glass job or project management software. So we have a system called Smart Glazier Business. It has been called Smart Toolbox for the last 15 years. Just got rebranded this year. Again, reason why is because it helps you run your business. It is really built to optimize the operational side of a glazing installation business. So primarily, that's where we would fit into the market. So typically, if you're doing custom glass or a lot of residential custom heavy glass, that's typically where we add the most value, because getting pricing is complicated, ordering is complicated, and usually providing quotes for your customers is something that needs to be done quickly. We do have a lot of customers that do commercial, but it sort of depends. Commercial is pretty wide spectrum, right? From small storefront replacement and repair through to contract high-rise commercial exterior glazing. We don't typically touch people who are up in that end. Given the name of this group, I suspect most of you are going to fit into the custom heavy glass, or at least relate to that side of the business. And the other, that's basically probably a pretty good overview of what we do. And so a lot of people are familiar with CRL Showers Online and use that software. So once again, a lot of people use that software through CR Lawrence. So we are the company that make that software. And then otherwise, if you've used it through us, we have Smart Glazier Shower Designer. And we are now offering as well the Glass Partition Designer and the Glass Railing Designer as well.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry, hopefully that wasn't too much information.
No, that's great. That's exactly what we're looking for. Thanks for that.
Okay, cool. And I mean, we are, because I'll probably get off into the weeds with all the questions later, but we are going to be at Glass Build. So hopefully some of you people will be coming down to Glass Build this year in Dallas, if you're not local down there. So we're going to have a stand, and I'll be at the show along with a bunch of people from our team. So it'd be awesome to meet anyone in person, and we can definitely, go through and show you everything that we do. So
I know some of us are definitely going to be there. So
yeah, that's a great show. You're doing a good job. So, I mean, how many people on the call are using Showers Online or the software through us? I don't know. Easiest way to gauge that, just get a show of yeses or a show of hands.
I do.
I got so Chris. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Christina. And there's Bill. Cool. There's a bunch. Yeah, and Brad. Hi, Brad.
Great.
So that's great. I mean, have the rest of you, are you doing shower door design in some sort of software, or is it mainly through the vendor, or would you be just doing it by hand, or probably a mix of the above? Anyone want to jump in?
I know what Tim does.
I use an Excel spreadsheet.
Awesome.
We use we will go through two different platforms. We'll use the program that Oldcastle provides, and then we
Yep.
also use another one. Like, so if we have to send it to Coral, we switch it over and we draw it up through whatever program Coral uses. I don't directly use that. My guy in the office that does the CAD drawings, he uses that, and I learned it a while ago and then taught him how to use it, and I've forgotten about it. So now he does it. But that's what we use. So, but I've been interested in figuring out how to use the CRL stuff or using something in the field to get, drawings to show the customer. But the only thing we use so far is in-house to get the drawings to send to Oldcastle.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, so Oldcastle, they are using the CRL tool. So you're getting into CRL online. And there has been a pretty big evolution of the product in the last year. We now have a fully browser-based or fully web-based version of the tool. So a lot of people did want to go into the field and use it in the field. And if you've used Sharrows Online and used Citrix, that's usually a dirty word. So no one loves Citrix. But yeah, the latest version, you don't need it, and it will work on a mobile phone. It will work on a tablet, any device basically. You do need internet, but you can log on, and it's pretty slick. And that will allow you to go out and draw up showers and get your 3D render. The breakdowns there calculate automatically, and then you can use it for pricing as well. I don't want to pretend that getting breakdowns and pricing is something that's just trivial. It's not. There is an element of configuration required with that, and that's something that we do offer, I think, a lot more assistance with than CRL typically do. We're the team that support them, and we're the team that built the software, and so we're really good at helping people customize the gap under the door, or what happens when you add a polycarb seal. What do you want it to do? Do you want the hinge to take precedence here? Do you want to try and expand the cutout to be able to pull it closer to the wall, go over the back plate? Do you need a little bit extra play? What are the combinations that you typically use? So, our team we can do things like bracket placement or clamp placement on the walls. Do you want to have one on the floor? Never do it on the floor, because my favorite thing is when I jump on a call with somebody and they tell me that no one ever puts clamps on the base of a shower panel. I suspect on this call, there's going to be 2 or 3 different ways that people actually do it. So the software is pretty mature and pretty capable in terms of setting your defaults, but you do need to let us know. And what I often find is people have used it through Sharrows Online. They jump in, CRL, do their default, which would be 2 on the base, 1 on the wall. It's not what they want. They don't like manual modifications, and then they kind of walk away thinking the software doesn't work. So there's certainly a lot that we can do to assist with that.
Nice.
Sam?
Yeah.
Now on the glass partition designer and the glass railing designer, I'm assuming that you're still obligated to just load in the Fair Lawrence product and not any other product at this point. Is that correct?
It is at this. Yeah, so that's correct. So that's probably a really important point, and I didn't actually skip that on purpose, I guess, but it's worth covering that in detail. So the designers through us, we're not allowed to load non-CRL product, right? So they come pre-built with the CRL hardware. That's the same for glass railings. It's the same for the partitions and frameless glass entrances, and it's the same for shower doors. I did watch the call from last week with Portals and chuckled when they said that they just have a drop down on their website. So you search the CRL code and they'll provide you with a Portals equivalent. So I think most people are working interchangeably, but that is certainly something that needs to be considered. The nice side of it, though, is that, you get, because it's fixed in there, you can hit a request quote button and download live pricing from your CRL account. We can actually hook it up to OBE as well, and you get live pricing from OBE. I know that for a lot of businesses, keeping their pricing up to date is quite complicated, and as a result, many business owners I talk to will send off quote requests to vendors because it's too risky, or it's too hard for them to actually maintain that in-house. And that works, but it's quite time consuming, and it means you've got a delay, and it's another point of failure that you can forget to get back to the customer, which just creates another thing on your to-do list. So it's really not necessary in this day and age. I think a lot of our customers are used to pricing from a couple of key vendors. Whether they order from them is a completely different story. And our software, the beauty of it is that you can quote everything out through say Oldcastle is your glass vendor, and then it comes time of ordering, they say they've got a 2-week delay on X, Y, or Z, and then you flick it out to I don't know, Cardinal or Truelight or whoever your sort of, there's a bunch, those are the more national ones, I guess, but whoever your local tempering plant is, and the software is going to calculate the fact that your cost changed because you order it from a different vendor, and that'll update your margin. You can see whether you made more money or whether that cost you money. And that's all instant. So that visibility and control is usually one of the big things that people don't have if they don't have usually our software. That you can certainly can be done with Excel. It's an incredible tool, but it does take quite a lot of maintenance. So does that all make sense? I'm not going, hopefully.
Yeah, it's good.
Yep.
It's
Okay.
really good.
Cool.
You were talking about how you can, provide like additional customer service. Now, somebody like, let's say I'm using Showers Online. Can I still come to you and get some help?
This is being recorded. I mean, the only reason I hesitate is because, I mean, we do help people. I've been here 11 years and I was in support for 5 of them. We've certainly had people calling in. I remember I spoke to somebody in the US before we even worked with the US market, and they called us up and they're asking for questions, and I helped them out. So yeah, we will help you because ultimately we genuinely care. It's our software. And we want people to have a good experience with the software. So yes, but be prepared for someone to get an email afterwards to say, hey, why don't you come and use it through us? So,
right.
Yeah. And CRL are aware of this, right? Like, so we work pretty closely with a couple of people over there. So they know that customers migrate from their platform to us. It's not a secret. It's not something that's, frowned upon. Essentially, we're all working towards the same goal, which is genuinely just kind of pushing the industry slightly more digital. The people we work with at CRL are actually really focused on that. It's a massive company, but they're fantastic. I know I hear all kinds of things. People talk about they had a good experience, they had a bad experience. I get to hear that from everyone with every single vendor everywhere because there's always good and bad experiences. But basically, it's all above board. And so if you did want to, if you're having trouble or you weren't getting the support that you needed, I'd encourage you to talk to your CRL rep anyway and say, look, I'm frustrated with this, because I suspect they might be more willing than you realize. But also, if you're having issues or you need assistance that's beyond what they can do, like our business suite, or you're even just looking to put, say, a quoting tool on your website. So one of the things we can do for people is you can plug in just a little simple configurator for your website so they can design glass and showers, storefronts, and even like office partitions and like the Laguna slider or some basic railings. That's a little widget that we can plug into your website and they can design that live. And CRL don't offer that add-on because it's a bit too technical.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've used Showers Online for a long time. And I don't think it's that CRL doesn't want to help or doesn't care necessarily, but I think it's more of a thing, like it's a powerful tool. And so it takes a lot of, you can get working on it pretty quickly, but it takes some time to really discover all the little ins and outs, all the little details of it. And so, I don't know if the average CRL rep really is all that able to go that deep, to help somebody who needs
That's
it.
probably a fair comment. Yeah. So yeah, when we do, I think that's where we do add a lot of value, is that our team are obviously a bit more experienced with providing support. We had a lot of different scenarios. So you just get more volume coming through. But yeah, definitely happy to help. I mean, there's some really common ones, and I can show the software today. And I usually, every time I demo it to someone who uses Showers Online, they'll be like, "What did you just do? How did you do that?" So it's there's some easy ones in there. But I mean, you can also, exactly. Anyone who's interested, we can talk about it afterwards. So you guys can move across to us. You're still active with CRL when that happens. Again, just being transparent. They have we support you, but they still get part of the subscription. It's all still a live account with them. But it just means that you're going to be able to get
we get
the
it.
service you need.
We all do business here, right? We get it. Everybody's got to get there. Everybody's got to get taken care of. We're all in this for a buck. or something at
Yeah.
the end of the day. There's a couple questions in the chat. You guys can just go ahead and just ask your question if you want. If you're shy, then I realize you're not asking your question. And towards the end, I'll come back and do it for you.
Yeah,
But
I can see.
if
I
you're, if,
wasn't checking those. I just, now that you point them out, I can see a couple. I'm happy
oh
to just
yeah,
run
you can
through
see
them.
the chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and
So
address any of those if you
yeah,
want.
beautiful. So I think the first one is Connor. So hi, Connor. Does Smart Glazier Connect include Smart Glass and Smart Shower? Yes, it does. So Smart Glazier Connect, hopefully this isn't too confusing. We've rebranded all the products, and I think the new names are better, but we'll see. So we now have Smart Glazier Design, which is primarily just for design and estimating. It's the simplest version of the tool, and that would be the equivalent of Showers Online, essentially, or the closest thing to Showers Online. You're just designing. Then you've got Smart Glazier Business, which adds on scheduling, invoicing, SMS, the field module where you can upload photos. You got a job diary. You got credit card payments, accept buttons, quote revisions. I don't know. I'll stop listening, but there's a bunch of stuff in there. And then that was what was called Smart Toolbox previously. So that's your business suite. And then we've got Smart Glazier Connect, and Connect is primarily for the glass wholesalers and distributors. So there's a new model that we've been working on where, just like CRL do, so say OBE or Cardinal could technically go and offer you a login to the Shower Designer through them. Still with just the CRL hardware, but or US Horizons. Actually, that's worth pointing out for any of you that do use USH. We can put CRL and USH into the same database, one login, rather than having to log into Enclosures Online and Showers Online. But yeah, everything we have has Smart Glass and Smart Shower. So.
Hey Sam, I think I talked to you a few times, or I don't know. We're all-purpose glass shower. We don't just do shower doors. I do everything, from underneath the glass realm, storefront, broken windows, new windows, shower doors. We do it all.
Yep.
Do you have a software that will help us in all those areas? Because right now we use Main Street, and they're
Yep.
kind of coming off the rocks a little bit. They're kind of, after they got sold out, they're not the same as they were before, and so they got a lot of problems. And we've been looking around, and there's a few. I was talking to my dad about it. We should give you guys a try, but I don't know if you guys offer what they do. We do it all, so we can't just get a one software and just do shower doors, because we don't just do that. We do everything. And
Sorry,
and we don't want to have 10 different softwares that do 10 different things, because that's not going to work out. Because that's just going to just make things difficult.
No, I understand. Do you do automotive? Apologies if you said
No,
that.
not
Okay,
anymore.
cool.
Automotive, we got that like 10 years ago. Automotive sucks. But yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we don't really have a module for automotive, but otherwise I say we do all flat glass. There are certain areas, and this is kind of nuanced, I guess, but most of our customers are like a general glass shop. We certainly have some who are shower specific or glass railing specific, but a lot of the time they'll do more than one thing. Most businesses these days like to have at least a couple of different streams of revenue. And I'm making a percentage here, but I would guess 60 to 70% of them are your kind of more classic general glass shop. So mesh screens, for example, they might be doing cut to size, bunch of walk-in shelving glass, cabinet glass, mirrors, tons and tons of IGs, replacement glass. And so we can absolutely do pricing and ordering on replacement glass units. We've had, I don't know the numbers. We've had a few come from Main Street. We've had a lot of people come off a glass pack. And those two systems are similar. I guess I think Main Street's got a bit more functionality than GlassPack does, but the answer to your question is yes. We should be able to do a fantastic job of all of that.
So you have somewhere where we could do IG units, mirrors, stuff like that. Okay, and we do a lot of fabrication here in shop too. So nothing like no fancy machines or anything like that. We still do old school by hand. Some of these guys probably don't know what that is, but yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, so I'll just make a couple of little notes off the side here, but Because
So
when I
drill.
can do a little demo at the end of the call, and I'll make sure I cover off like a mirror, IG, showers. Yeah, I mean, essentially we have a glass design tool which can be used for anything. So
Yeah.
the shower designer is specific to showers, and it has smarts built into it, so it understands. It'll warn you if you don't put a handle on. So hey, there's no handle here. Where are the hinges?
Yeah.
So there's some logic built into it because it knows. Well, I say it knows. The
I
software
have
kind of
I
understands what a shower is.
I have showers online. I use that for my shower
Perfect.
door. So
Yep.
I'm really familiar with it. I'm actually designing a shower door right now for a customer.
Nice.
About to send it off to them for a quote. But so I'm familiar with that. But I would like to try to get into smart glazer, because then I can just dump this one and and we could be, instead of having two different programs, softwares, you could just get one.
Yes.
So
Yep.
and I'm already used to it. So I'm sure that I could probably get, I don't know how much difference it is
It's
between
almost
showers.
identical. Ours looks
Identical? Okay.
a little bit prettier. I like the colors better, but other than that, it's almost identical. So,
Okay.
and yeah, I'll show you at the end of this call. We'll go through a demo, and I think that'll, for anyone that's familiar, they'll see just how close it is. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
There's also a couple of questions there. I got Bill and Greg asking about the non-compete contract with CRL. I don't, this sounds like a sales, that's why I'm laughing. Sounds like a sales dodge. I don't actually know the details of the contract between us and CRL. Not really privy to that, but my understanding is that they bought the license for North America, so they own it. I don't think they would give that up. So it's not something that, that I'm aware of that's just like about to end, if that makes sense, unfortunately. So, well, I don't know. Unfortunately, we get a lot out of it. They're a fantastic partner for us. People, I think it's important to point out that they have invested a huge amount of money and time into building this software. I sell globally. I mean, I've been here a long time. Nowhere else in the world is the market as advanced in terms of like software and shower design usage. Most people are still doing it all by hand. They break it down by hand. Talk to anyone in New Zealand and Australia, and it takes them 20, 30 minutes for a lot of their shower doors between quoting it, drawing it up, and getting it out. So we're changing that direct. But the US market is so much far further ahead than everybody. A lot of people do send it to the vendor, and the glass vendor, the supplier or fabricator, is doing that work for them. But it's because of what CRL have done with the software and pushed it forward. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's important to recognize that. So.
Well, what I like about showers online is that I could order straight to OBE. I don't have to scan it, fax it, whatever. No, I just get it.
Yep.
Send in my order. I got a little icon button. I just click it on that, and it sends it over. And all I got to do is email my my shower team over there. Say, hey, new order coming through. I'll put a PO number to it, and that's all. I don't have to send them nothing, no extra paperwork. And then also for a quote, there's a little icon that click on it, request a quote, and in about 10 seconds I'll get a quote, and that's it.
Yep.
All I got to do is put my surcharge in, and that's about it, and the hardware, and pretty quick. You don't have to, worry about, because I think a lot of times, I mean, I think a lot of mistakes come from our handwriting and stuff. People can't understand it, because I seen some. I was like, dang, I can't read that. So how they're gonna read it? It's better just sending it off, in a already, your cut sheets already, and there you go.
Yeah.
Hey Sam, I saw a question there that I think you might have missed, and it was, I think you covered a little bit at the beginning of the presentation, but
the updates on mobile.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's all. I mean, for showers, that's well and truly good to go, unless you're referring to the app, I guess. But essentially, the mobile version is the way forward. So depending on what you're using, do you have anything now, Cameron?
No. So before we got signed up with you guys, we had kind of dabbled a little bit on the I don't know if it's the shower glazer or whatever the basic app was, just to build showers and just kind of at least use that for when we get back to the shop. But I think it was maybe 6 months or so after we had got signed up with you guys, we heard about the mobile app, reached out, and apparently it was just only available for the CRL guys. So I was just wondering if there's some updates on that, because that would be excellent. Yeah, we just hired a new estimator, so he's very anxious to get on the ball and start doing stuff out in the field. So that would be perfect.
Yeah, awesome. So there's been a ton of work in this area, and yeah, correct. So essentially, what happened was for the SG business users, the mobile only version needed to be hooked up to our schedule and to field and to the diary, and we've done all that now. And you got visit tasks, so you can say you go out and do a measure. They get a calendar on their phone. They click on it. They get told this is a measure. They hit it. They enter their measurements. They can update photos. They can complete that visit. I can walk through all that as well if we have time, but that's all good to go. And you're probably just waiting on the latest update, which is getting rolled out this week. Had a similar conversation with Christina, I think, was it yesterday, today? So that's all there, and it's pretty exciting. And it's nice to see you again, man. When I saw Cameron, didn't realize who, but then yeah, Precision Shower. You guys doing good? Oh, back on mute. You're on mute there, Cameron.
Yeah, no, we are doing good. We use the tool quite often. I was actually just using it at the shop before I left. So, yeah, still need to kind of get dialed in on some things, but we get our way around. It's been good.
Okay.
Call me up, Cameron. I'll help you out.
For sure.
Is that Bill?
Yes, what's up?
Oh, sorry. No, I was just wondering. I was just trying to see who was jumping in there to offer help to Cameron. Looking at the mics. Yeah.
Oh, it was me.
Yeah.
Cameron,
Nice.
Cameron's the Kelly guy, so I just 4 hours.
We've
I'll
got
go
we've
down
got
south
some
for a little bit.
background. We've got some background noise in somebody's mic. Is that you, Bill? Okay. Thanks.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Those are good questions. Are there any other questions that people have got there, or would you like me to go through and do a little bit of a screen share and show a bit about how it works?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. All right. Don't get nervous.
That's right. It's gonna be okay.
All right. Hold on. So screen 2. Is that coming through okay?
Yep, there it is.
All righty. Cool. So there's 2 sides. Well, like I said, we've got multiple different products really. What I think I might do for simplicity's sake is start with the equivalent search, what we call Smart Glazier Design, our Shower Designer Solo by itself, because I think that will be familiar to people and look a lot like Showers Online, or at least most similar to Showers Online. So this is the new web-based version of Showers Online. And I can bring up the old version as well. So I guess, has anyone switched over from Citrix to web, or you're all supposed to use the Citrix version?
I have. I like it a lot better.
Yeah, so do I. I bounce back and forth. The only reason why the web version, I love it. I use it all the time because it's, iPad friendly. But the only thing I don't like about it is that when you go to the description, you can't edit your description on the web-based version of Showers Online. So you can't go and I like to edit my description, the hardware and stuff like that, because in the description it says, using a CRL hardware. I don't use CRL hardware, so you can't go in there and wipe that out and put, and just erase it.
Gotcha.
So
understood.
So I use Citrix to go and I edit that out, and then I go bounce back onto the web version.
Gotcha. Order. Yeah. I haven't actually looked at that before. That's a really good point.
So Sam, I'm assuming this is the web version of the tool?
Correct. Yeah. And then here is the Citrix version just popped up on screen. There. So that's the old school version. Still really awesome. It just looks old, and most people, if they haven't used it before.
Now, is this your guys', is this you guys, or is this CRL?
There you go. That's it.
It's
That's
identical.
the question. Yeah.
It's identical. It's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing. So, but there's the web one. We'll go back to the web one here. So you can design shower. I mean, to answer your question there, sorry, you're talking from Lando and Sons, but I didn't actually catch your name. I apologize.
Adrian.
Adrian, how's it going, Adrian? Yeah.
Right.
All right, cool. So, I mean, yeah, so the business version, you do have a lot more control over that, the editing of descriptions and things, and I'll sort of look into that and show you that in a minute. But I mean, if I go just to sort of show you on the mobile version there, you know, I'm doing a phone emulation. This is for like an iPhone 12. You know, the design, the layout's a little bit different, but you can go through and you can change your overall styles. You can scroll down and actually see here, you've got a 3D view. You can switch into interactive mode. You can double click on things. It doesn't actually work when I'm emulating here, but if you're doing touch, you just double tap and it will go through into that panel. If we go through to the panel screen, you can see the cutouts. So we can go down. You can actually see this is a Vienna. You can see the offsets. We can see that highlighted here and interact with it and change these numbers, right? So we can go down. You can see the cutout detail. We can see the overview of the shower here. So you've got the ability to change literally anything on here. I'll just go back to desktop for the screen share because otherwise it's probably going to be very small for everybody.
Junior Lando.
But yeah, you've got your essentially your overview of your shower, and then you've got the ability to drill into all of those details. Right. So if I wanted to adjust that, I can make it 8.5 and bump it up.
Mhm.
So the handle inset, the handle along, we can switch out the type of hardware. And then if we come out, you get a few different outputs. So you get this quote. I'm connected into our US server here from New Zealand, so it does take a second to load sometimes.
Sorry to
I'll put some
interrupt,
details.
Sam. I have a quick
Hmm?
question for you at this
Yeah.
stage. If you
Yeah.
wanted to save some configuration that you did with clamps in a certain spot or mouse here a certain way, can you save that as like a template?
So you can save cutout templates. You can't modify the hinge cutout permanently in here. So I mean, if you do have, we do get a lot of customers that, like, for example, on the Vienna or the Geneva, they sometimes want to change something by like a 16th just to make it a little bit tighter. So that sort of thing we can assist with. But yeah, you can't go and change the mouse here cutout to something completely different. In terms of hardware placement, so where our clips go, we do have a lot of control over the defaults for that, and you can also save layouts. So you could save this entire shower as a fixed layout with the sizes, and then you could load that from your library if you wanted to. So I mean, yeah, technically you could go through and modify anything on here and then save it and then just go and reload that every time. But you know, most of the time the software is designed to be used from scratch. So you're going through and rebuilding your shower and adding your hinge and adding your clips. The main thing that we can help with is the placement rules. So
CRL probably won't like me saying this, but Sam probably can't say this, but what we've done for phantom sliders is we've done the Cambridge and then modified all the hole placements and cutouts and everything, and then saved that as a template shower. So for those of you who are worried about not being able to use certain things, that's worked really well for us.
Yeah, I
so
did the same thing. Just made a template of it, Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, and we don't really, I mean, and that isn't something that we've been involved in, so I didn't know you'd done that, but yeah, fair enough. I mean, I think it's you can get in and get creative. People do. I've seen people draw up glass railings in the shower designer.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's relatively easy to do if you know how to use the software. So I mean, I wouldn't go and order the glass from that, but you can get a pretty sweet picture relatively quickly. But yeah, so I think this is probably like a quick introduction to the shower designer. But a couple of things I want to point out is, on the back end here, you've actually got a full bill of materials. And so one of the things that having software is going to provide for you is just consistency in how you price things. I work with new customers all the time. I'm in a sales role here. And so I constantly have conversations where people are worried about whether we can price or how we price things. That's usually the two main concerns is whether the glass is going to be calculated correctly or whether the cost is going to be calculated correctly. And it's not always just straightforward to change how you price something. But when you're using a tool like this, you're never going to miss flat polish or the holes for the handle, the hinges, all of the elements are there every single time. And most of the other systems are going to be a lot more manual. There are some other software like eShowers. It's obviously, software as well. So that kind of falls into the same category as we do. But if you're using an Excel spreadsheet, or if you're using, I don't know, any other sort of system that's not bespoke shower software, then it's certainly going to be far more likely that you forget something or somebody forgets something. And so I would say that if you're happy to use a cost plus markup, you figure out the cost for everything and then you mark it up, then you're going to have a really solid, very repeatable pricing structure. And as soon as your vendor costs change, you're instantly covered just by, having a cost plus model and marking up from there. I know not everyone does that, but it seems that most companies I talk to will be using some sort of cost plus method for shower doors or custom glass, at least. Maybe not so much for the IGs and the mirror and the walk-in work, talking about what Adrian was asking for last time, but certainly on the heavy glass.
Yeah, you're probably aware there was just a glass price increase just the beginning of this month. So we were just having this conversation last week on our call about pricing and how that works. And if you can, do that, cost plus model, it's a great model because you're always covered.
Certainly protects you a lot more. I mean, there's obviously a lot to consider, right? I mean, if you stop winning work because you're overpricing, then that certainly can also be just as dangerous as winning too much work and underpricing. I don't know. There's never just a simple one-shot answer, but at the same time, I think with cost plus, you can see if you're dropping your price down, how much your actual margin is, and that's where our business software. I mean, it's an unintentional plug here, but you get a lot of visibility, and you can report on your margins over time, and you can easily go in and see which jobs actually came in. When you invoice it, it looks back at what you quoted versus what you invoiced, and you can see your true margin. Well, yeah, say true margin, the job costing. So how much hardware, how much glass, how much labor was spent, and if you log incidentals as well, we're not a full accounting package, so we're not taking into consideration like your overheads, like rental or vehicles or anything like that. That's generally done in your profit and loss in your accounting software. But for the actual job itself, the project, if you're expecting a 50% margin, you can look at that and pretty quickly tell whether or not you're on track or not. So.
Daniel just asked the question, what other model would you use other than cost plus? Is there another model?
Yeah.
Does anybody want to go after that? I mean, you're welcome to, Sam, if you want.
Yeah, I mean, the most obvious one that I come across other than cost plus is just going to be a fixed selling price. So people figure out a square foot rate that they want to sell their shower doors at, and they have a selling price for their hardware. And then they'll sometimes do different price rates for contractors versus homeowners based on that. It tends to be franchises or larger businesses that have branches, or someone who puts together a pricing. So if they're selling into like kitchen bathroom design companies, or they're selling into renovation companies and that, or home builders, and the home builder wants to sit there with a brochure and say, I can do a shower door and it's going to be $1,250 for this configuration, $2,000 for this configuration. They're kind of pre-allocating out a easier to understand price list so that someone other than them can price that and sell that, and they're covered. Because does that make sense?
Yeah. I can remember like an old school way of doing it was that you would just take materials and then multiply it by like 2 or something and make that, and then that would cover your labor. It was pretty easy. I think it was like actually materials times 3. So that would cover all of your labor and then overhead and stuff like that. And actually, Keith Dobbin's got an awesome little formula. If you want to learn that, ask him about it. He'd be happy to tell you about it, where you just, it's just a simple multiplication problem, and you can choose exactly what profit margin you want by just, simple math equation.
Yep. And I have just seen another question there in the chat that came through from Daniel as well. Where does the pricing go? I mean, so that's another thing where we're a little bit different, I guess. So we have multiple servers. We have 2 in the US. They're our own servers and very secure data centers. And you have your own database that's for you, right? So if I can use Cameron or Christina as examples here, each of them has a database that we host on our servers. Their team are the only ones that should have access. They're the ones that control who gets a password. They have security permissions within that. Nobody outside of their business other than our internal team would be able to access their database unless they share that information. Sierra has absolutely no access or visibility. I'm not sure if that's where you're going, but that's a pretty common question that I get. They do not have visibility, control, or access to anything that we do. The pricing information there, any of your competitors, any of our other customers, there's no way they could get in. Just as likely to get into our software as they would be to get into your local network. The usual point of failure is someone sticking their password on the screen with a Post-it note, which I've seen almost in like every shop that I've been into.
That's essentially what I was asking, was like all this glass pricing. If you're putting all your glass pricing from different vendors into a database, like who has access to that, and can anyone buy that? Like, do y'all sell it to anybody?
No.
Like, say there was a big company that wanted to buy this stuff, can they just buy it and they know how much this other company is charging?
No way. No, I mean we sign the license agreements when you come on board with us. We sign a legal agreement, both of us, and like we would be in major breach if we did that. It's like your data. Nothing that you put in there we would access to sell. Nor, I mean, as I suspect you're asking the question because you're concerned about it, but like if we did do that, I'm sure the word would get around, and I don't think anyone would want to work with us. So we just have no benefit, and our model is to sell software. That's what we're trying to do here. So is an affiliate link if someone were to refer others? No. Get asked this a lot. We probably should, but I talked to Christina about this earlier as well. Like, not about affiliates, to be honest. Yeah, there you go. So she wasn't. That makes it sound bad. She wasn't asking about this, but just talking about like our sales approaches. We're not really very aggressive as a company. We don't chase people really hard. We don't push. The glass industry is pretty unique. It's really quite technologically advanced while being completely backwards at the same time. I hope no one's going to get offended with that. I feel like most people are there. So, coming in with software, the business needs to be ready. I think it's the right thing to do. Obviously, you got a pretty biased viewpoint on everything, but if you're not ready as a shop to move and you're fully paper-based and half the team are just going to fight you all the way, it's going to be a very painful experience. There's no real way around that. What we try and do is get people motivated and help each of the different departments understand why software is going to make their life easier. And we're pretty good at it, but at the same time, referrals and things like that, to us, it's like that company needs to want to change. You can put them in touch, but essentially I don't know, it's just not really how we work. We don't do kickbacks. We don't pay people commission or anything like that. So yeah.
There you go.
We try and just, be as fair as we can with the pricing. We do provide a very high level of service, and we provide constant updates. So hopefully in the group here, people can attest to it. We're not always as fast as people would like. But the changes that we're making, basically most of them, I'll be careful here, I guess, most of them are free for everybody. You're part of your subscription. All the updates just come through as part of the next release. We don't charge for them. There are things that we will add sometimes that do cost. So we added a Twilio integration for SMS, and that has a cost per message for us. And so we're charging like $30 for 1,000 messages, which is literally cost price for us. There's no markup or margin on it for us whatsoever. I've had a look around at a few of the other competitors and other systems, and some people are charging like $30 for 200 messages. So they're obviously marking up and making that, which is fine. But we try our software isn't particularly cheap. I don't think it's overly priced when you actually realize how much it does. But yeah, we try and be as fair as possible. So I'll buy you a beer, Connor, if you come to Glass Build. And that's even don't have to refer anybody. Just give you a hat.
Beers for everyone. Show up.
Yeah. Well, if you're there, we're hosting drinks on Tuesday night.
Oh,
Just come along. Come along. I think we're going to be at the Rustic. Come along and say that Sam said that you get a beer, and then So
yeah, we're having a big
I'll be
party
there.
there. I don't know if you've been invited already, but we're having a big party there. So you should talk to Christina about
cool. When's that?
where we're gonna be. We're
Any
gonna be
excuse
at. Go ahead,
Yep.
Christina.
We're gonna have a party at Top Golf hosted by 310 Tempering, and it's really exciting. And I hope everybody can join us. And Sam, you're more than welcome.
Awesome. I'm terrible at golf. That'll be wonderful.
It's okay. Not everybody has to play. There's gonna be food and networking, and 310 is actually launching a new product, exclusively. That they don't have a booth this year, so this event is going to be kind of the first look at their new product. So that's really cool. So RSVP to that event if you're coming to Glass Build. We'd love to see you Monday night. Anybody in this group is obviously welcome. So yeah,
Cool.
and Sam, of course.
Thank you. I was hoping to be Sunday that I can get out of the stand set up. Anything I can do to shirk my responsibilities with the boring stuff. So look, I thought I'm not sure how we're doing for time, but I thought
We've got about 5 minutes left.
Okay. Alrighty then. So what do I do? This is Smart Lazy Business Field. I'm tempted to see how much I can get done in 5 minutes just as
there you go for it, man.
Just as a bit of a shot, but I'm probably going to end up racing, and that I get told this a lot. So we do have, so essentially there's two sides to business. This is the older interface. It's what gets used in the office. It looks full on. It's awesome software. It does a ton. There's definitely a learning that needs to happen. Like, it's not you're going to turn it on, just know how everything works, but it's a little bit naive to think that you can put in place a system that's going to help with quoting, pricing, credit card payments, scheduling, field users, work orders for your internal work orders, orders for your glass, orders for your hardware, invoicing, synchronization with QuickBooks. Like, there's a lot of things that we're going to help with. And so that usually takes about 6 to 12 weeks for most people to implement. And we help a lot with that process. But for now that I've talked for another of my 5 minutes, I'm going to talk for a minute. I'm going to go through and I'm going to take a phone call. So maybe customers called in. I'm going to cheat a little bit and just grab someone from the system. Have I got Christina in here? Can I send you a text? Chris and Eli? No. Okay. And grab Ruth. And maybe I'm going to flick her an SMS that just says, hey, send me a photo. So I've got a little standard in here. It says photo request. So I can pop that out. I have no idea if that's a real number. I'm scared to hit send, but we'll just see what happens. So we pop her now. If we do a proper demo, anyone do one-on-one, I'll text you. You can text me back. The photo will appear in here. The text message will appear in here. So we could then go and say, okay, cool. We're going to go pre-quote the shower. Classic sort of example. And this is the CRL shower designer just built in, right? So if you're familiar with that, go through. I'm going to chuck in a couple of outages. I don't know what they are in the photo, but there's bound to be something on the walls, right? So pop that in, and then we'll run with our classic channel and pop that through. So it auto applies all the hardware with one double click. You have full control over all of these styles, so you can build out what you use as a combination, what your default handle is. You want the heavy duty, you want the standard, you want the beveled, you want the square. We can help with all of that. And then when I save, it prompts me to say, hey, you forgot labor. So I'll chuck in 4 hours. I can see it's measured approximate. Sorry, I'm going fast. This is being recorded, but it's measured approximate. And then I'm going to go add my own little note here to say Ruth is doing a reno, replacing an old shower, wants a new frameless, like whatever. Cool. So I can now text her this. So I can hit the send button, send an SMS, or I can use my favorite button, which is the send quote button. So what I can do here is actually just hit send quote, and that can do many things, but it's going to text and email at the same time, because I want it to do lots of things for me. So yeah, there you go. No recipient for this mess, but that will work with a real number. It tells me the quotes are sent, and then it tells me, hey, this is in draft status. Let's update it to sent. So it'll flick over to sent customer status, which is all good. Now, quick view of the quote. Just make sure I have got, yeah, cool. So load that through. So obviously your company logo. We've got interactive shower for them, and we have confirm, pay, decline buttons down the bottom here. Now, what you can actually also do, which I should have done in this example, but I'm rushing, you wouldn't send through a confirm and pay button on a pre-quote like this. You'd mark it as an estimate, right? And you remove the details there for payment, so they can accept or they can request a requote. A couple of things I'm going to do real quick is create a revision. So we've got 1526A, because she said, actually, can you tell me how much it will cost with matte black hardware? So I'm going to go down, select matte black, and switch all that out. So now we've got the matte black version. And then she's also asked if we could price out a mirror. There we go. I just remembered that we got asked about mirrors before. So I'm just going to quickly jump into our glass designer, and I'm going to go and do my favorite mirror, which has a couple of cutouts. 36, 663. So I'll go through, polish all the edges, and then I'll go chuck a PowerPoint cutout on. So we'll drag that on, pop it there. So in the back end, the software has calculated the linear inches, how much flat polish, it calculates the price for the notch, calculates the square footage of the glass, calculates the cost of that cutout. So all of those details are kind of being built here. Again, I know there's a ton on screen, I'm rushing, guys, but just trust me that the pricing works. And then now I've got my second quote that I can go through. And if we have a look at this here, it's got different revisions, tells the customer that there's another revision. So I'm just checking my draft. Once I'm happy, I can flick that out again, hitting that send quote button. Just hit the send to customer for now. And I refresh on here, and we've got our quote. They can see their total price, and they can also go and see their revision. So they're all linked up. Right?
Can you show us install unit? Can you do one, or can you add it to
yes,
that?
yeah, go. Why not? So jump through, we'll do revision 3 and go add an IG. So like a 1-inch overall, pretty classic. So you can see here the unit breakup, breakdown, 36 by 36, 1-inch overall. We've got a 1/2-inch spacer with 1/4 inch clear over clear. You can go switch that out to a low E. The grayed out items here, this is actually a new thing for some of our existing users on the call. You can set it up per supplier. So if a particular supplier doesn't supply glass and you've got that supplier selected, it'll show you what they stock and what they don't. This is not linked to their database. So if they're currently out of stock, it's not that cool, but it will, if they don't actually show, they don't supply ultra clear, they use Starfire, you can have those in there and see the difference. So that's cool. And then what I wanted to show you is we're going to go, she wants to go ahead with one of these jobs. So what we're going to do is actually go book in a site visit and schedule a measure. So I'm going to chuck it onto my calendar, pop it out here. I'll go leave name. And we'll be out there for a half hour. And I'm going to say that my task on this is going to be a measure. I'll get him to measure everything. And I've sent that out to my installer, Sam. Let's take Evan as well. So that goes out to him. So this is the office, right? We're working on the office. We've got a big screen, all sorts of stuff in here that you can cover off. We've got access to the diary to make notes, text the customer, see what's been going on. We've got the mapping tool. We can see routes. We can see travel times. So the idea is this is like power user software. You get a ton of information that can help you make great decisions. It's all there. Okay, break. So take a breath. We're now out in the field, right? So it could be through Google Calendar. It could actually just be through your visit screen. So here's my visit for the quote I just did, 1562B. So for Ruth, Cavor Street, I can click on that, and it gives me a little preview here of my shower, my mirror, and my insulated unit. And it tells me I'm doing a measure on all of these. So I'm going to go into my shower, and I start my shower measurements, and we'll go through, right? And we can go through and adjust these. So if I go back and design, we can make changes to the shower. Right? I can go through, actually, no. I scheduled it on a completed quote there. So what I need to do, I think, is actually create a revision, but which is cool. So because I sent this out to the customer, it's locked it. Just go fix that, which is intentional. So I want to unlock.
Cool.
Yep.
Can you create a revision from here?
Not currently.
Because you wouldn't want to unlock something that you sent the customer.
No, well, you wouldn't have assigned it to the C there. I mean, I ran through too quickly. Yeah, Cameron. Yeah, there's a bunch of new stuff in here, buddy. It's the latest release is a big one. So we always get like the doozy release right before the glass show. There's all the really cool stuff goes in. But yeah, let's just go back here. So we go into our shower, but I mean, you've got the ability here to go through and enter measurements. Let's say this was 3/16. We can go in, we can enter our edges all the way around, take a 1/4 inch across the base. Yeah, we can be there. Maybe we're looking at this with the customer. We could decide that we're actually going to go edit the fitting. So it pulls up the handle. I'm going to remove it, and then I'm going to go add a new handle and show them what a towel rail looks like. Let's just do that one. It doesn't have matte black. I don't know these things well enough. Yeah. There we go.
Well, Sam, we're running over a little bit now. It's not a big deal, but
Yep.
you know,
Nice.
it's kind of late where some of these people are, so
That's
gonna have
perfect.
to bring it in for
It's early.
Yeah.
all
it's
good.
early where we are.
Yeah. We got
That's
plenty
okay.
of time.
We can wrap it up though. But yeah, so essentially you can see the idea though. You've got a visit. So this is what your installer is going to see. And again, it's probably worth just popping it into like a tablet view, or if you go down to a phone view, you know, they're going in and editing this stuff. And then once they're done, they can hit the complete button. They can make notes in the diary. It tells them, hey, how much time did you actually spend? Right. So it's prompting them straight away. Visit's completed. How much time you spent on the job? So I was there for 6 hours. Ruth was lovely. She made me dinner. And yeah, and then you go back out to your calendar and you go to the next appointment and you move on. So this is what the guys in the field are using. We don't charge for field users, so you're only paying for office users. This is all open functionality for them. And then we're slowly building out more and more functionality that paid users would have on mobile and tablet. We've got storefronts in there now. And let's just go, so I'll go out of the F12 mode just because I get disoriented. But if I was to go in there, you can actually go add that storefront. So frameless partition, sorry, I say storefronts again. It's called storefronts online for so long, but really it's all glass entrances and partitions. So this is now available on mobile, and the next project we're working on is going to be glass railings on mobile. We have that in the desktop mode already. But yes, so your office can certainly draw up glass railings and balustrades. So we could jump in. Again, I'm probably racing for you guys, but I'll just show you 240, what we can do. So you've got your balustrading. So for estimating, this is just incredibly useful. You want a couple of revisions with the top cap, without the top cap, with top cap on offset rail. I can change my different top rail, GR10. And so every time you do this, if you just want to create like 6 revisions, you can go through and do that probably in about 6 minutes. And you've got, you know, a fully priced quote for your customer. And you can, the other thing that's different between Cheryl's Online is I can do that. Let's just check in 16, give a customer real quick, pick Ruth again. And I can put a shower in here as well, right? So that's one big thing. You can have 6 showers in your quote in our software. You don't have to just have 1 per quote, which is a big limitation. I know that people get stuck with on the Cheryl's Online version, right? Labor, cool, and then view. Right, so you get your balustrade, and you get your shower. I'll just make that balustrade bigger, make them the same.
Keep handrail.
All righty, so that was a whirlwind demo. Sure, I'll get told off by people for going too fast. But look, you can talk to us, talk to the other colleagues, but yeah, thanks so much.
All I see is that Main Street is light years behind you guys. Damn it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of differences. Well, you
Yeah,
can
that's
look. Just
that's
come-
sweet, Sam. I'm definitely going to be signing up for a refresher because yeah, there's a lot of, especially the glass railing and stuff. I didn't know that it was in there yet. And
It's
yeah, we
all
can
it's
definitely
all
use
the
it.
last sort of 6 to 9 months. Like every year we bring out new stuff, and so it's the last 6 to 9 months we brought a whole bunch of this stuff out, and yeah, we're always cautious when we bring out a new feature. We test it with a few. We get a bunch of feedback because as hard as we try, we always forget really obvious things. I mean, Christina just hit us with one there, like, can you create a revision from here? I'm like, oh shoot.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. It's awesome. But that's the reality. Like we built all this great stuff, and then we just forget like something that's really obvious. But that's why we listen to our users, and you can attest to this. Is that yeah, they'll bring it up, and then probably in about 3 or 4 years we'll get it in there for you, Christina. So hopefully sooner. But,
Well, I will
yeah.
say, Sam, we have, I think we have 10 or 11 seats with you guys, and it really allows you to get organized, and it allows you to keep control of all that information, and to have the customer information, the pricing, the designs, the addresses, the schedules for estimates all together in one place. It's been invaluable for us scaling.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really glad. Well, yeah, it makes my job. That's why I've been here 11 years. It's a pretty fulfilling job, and we don't always get everything right, but it's pretty cool helping people, and our customers do grow, and you're generally all amazing to work with. So thank you. Always, first time I went to the glass show, I was like, how's this going to go? But everyone's so lovely. So
Sam, if people want to contact you, how do they contact you?
yeah, that's a great question. So, I mean, probably through our website obviously just works, but I can pop my email up on screen or into the chat, smartglazier.com. And I can also put my booking link if you want to book in, into the chat and up on screen. So, give me a second here.
Thank you. Awesome.
No, you're welcome. Thank you.
We'll post that information to the YouTube link
Okay.
and stuff, the description page and all that, so
Yep.
that people can contact you.
That
Hey,
is
thanks, Sam.
perfect.
Really appreciate your coming. I don't know what time it is where you are, but
Me, I'm 1:38 p.m. I mean, that's another thing very quickly. Like, I mean, we do have 2 support teams. We have one in the UK and one in New Zealand. So we actually cover about 21 hours a day. It means
Nice.
you can get us in your evening, you can get us in your morning. It can mean that, smack bang in the middle of the day, depending on where you are, maybe someone doesn't pick up the phone. But in general, the feedback we have is our support is strong. We do look after people. We do try and get back to you. We're normally in touch with people within like a day or two if it's urgent sooner. And in the software world, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, just depends on what the issue is. So yeah, I'll pop that in the chat there. So
Awesome.
here's my booking link. Yep. And then, yeah. So
That's great.
yeah, thank you so much for your time. Sorry that we ran over there.
I will be
And,
okay.
Yeah.
My wife will keep my dinner warm.
All right.
Sam
Right.
Franklin, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Maybe we'll run into you at Class Build.
I hope so. I'll definitely be there. So come and find us. And we've got hats. So sweet hats.
I want a
Smart
hat.
Glazier software. Yeah.
I'll be there.
All right, man.
This is
Some
my doing.
swag.
Sick
Some
of
swag.
have like, yeah. But yeah, it'll be awesome to meet you. And thank you so much for letting me come on today.
You bet.
Great.
Awesome. Pleasure's ours.
Good.
All right, everybody.
Glass
Have a
Build.
great week. We'll see you again next Wednesday.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Good night,
All
everybody.
right. Good night.
Thanks,
guys.
Sam. See you guys. Good night.